The greatest tragedy is not being alone. It's being surrounded by people and still not knowing who is yours. And God is not in the business of trial and error. God is intentional. Everything he does is with precision, which means when it comes to your life partner, the person designed to help fulfill your assignment on earth, he doesn't introduce you to their face first. He introduces you to their purpose first. Because love is not a feeling you discover, it's a calling you recognize. That's why some of you have been disappointed, not because God failed you, but because you were busy looking for chemistry while God was busy preparing compatibility. Chemistry is emotional. Compatibility is destiny. And destiny isn't about who makes you laugh at night. It's about who can help you carry the weight of your calling when life tries to crush you. Before God introduced Eve to Adam, he gave Adam responsibility. He put him in the garden, assigned him work, gave him vision, purpose, order, dominion, and then he said, it's not good for man to be alone. Why? Because purpose precedes partnership. If you don't know why you exist, you won't know who belongs to your existence. And here's the danger. When you don't know who you are, you'll introduce yourself to people who don't belong to you. And then you'll blame God for heartbreaks he never authored. God will never give you someone who will destroy the assignment he placed in your life. That's why before God introduces you to them, he will first introduce you to yourself. Because the person you're looking for is not hidden from you, they're hidden for you until you're ready to recognize them. You don't find your soulmate by accident. You meet them by revelation. And revelation always comes after preparation. Most people spend their lives searching for love based on how they feel. They go after people who make them laugh, who give them butterflies, who look good on their arm or impress their friends. But the truth is, when it comes to God, he never introduces you to someone based on emotion. God doesn't match you by feelings, he matches you by purpose. Because feelings change, looks fade, seasons shift, but purpose remains. If God gave you a relationship purely because you felt good about someone, you'd be tied to a temporary feeling with no lasting assignment. God doesn't deal with surface attractions. He deals with divine connections. It's like someone going to a store and buying something they don't even know how to use simply because it looks good on the shelf. That's what happens in relationships when we pursue people based on feelings. We purchase what we don't have the capacity to handle. God won't introduce you to a person to decorate your life. He will introduce you to someone who can help build it. And that's why you don't meet your soulmate when you're desperate. You meet them when you're prepared. When God created Adam, he didn't just throw Eve into his life because Adam was lonely. God first introduced Adam to his assignment. He placed him in the garden, told him to work it, cultivate it, protect it, name the animals. Only after Adam knew his responsibility did God say, it's not good for man to be alone. Why? Because Eve was not a hobby, she was a helper. And a helper can't help you if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You don't need someone to complete you. You need someone to complement you. And that complement is not about your ego. It's about your assignment. So God introduces you to your soulmate by first revealing your purpose. If you don't know why you were born, you won't recognize who's supposed to walk with you. This is why many people keep falling for the wrong person. Because they're choosing with their emotions what God never authorized with his purpose. It's dangerous to attach your destiny to someone God never sent. You can't afford to build a future with someone who doesn't even recognize who you are in the spirit. And that's the mistake many people make. They choose someone who fits their preferences, but not their purpose. But preferences are about what you like. Purpose is about what you need. And God is too wise to give you what you like at the expense of what you need. He's not just concerned about your romantic life. He's concerned about your destiny. That's why you've experienced delays, closed doors, and unexpected breakups. Not because God was punishing you, but because he was protecting you. He was blocking what didn't belong to the assignment on your life. The introduction to your soulmate doesn't start with romance. It starts with revelation. God will reveal your purpose before he reveals your partner. And when you discover your purpose, your vision sharpens, your discernment increases, and you begin to see people differently. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, can they walk with me in my calling? You stop chasing attraction and start seeking alignment. And here's what's powerful. When you finally step into your purpose, you won't have to go chasing after people. Purpose has a voice. It speaks to the right people, draws the right people, and repels the wrong ones. When you walk in your assignment, the right person will recognize you, not because of how you look, but because of who you are becoming in God. That's why God doesn't introduce you to your soulmate by appearance first. He introduces you by assignment. Because the one he has for you isn't just coming to love you. They're coming to help you fulfill what you were born to do. One of the most important truths about relationships that many people miss is this: God will never reveal your partner until you first discover your assignment. That's because God is not in the business of creating partnerships without purpose. Everything God does is intentional, strategic, and connected to his bigger plan for your life. If you don't know why you were born, you won't know who is supposed to walk with you in that purpose. And if you don't know what you are assigned to do, you'll keep picking people based on your feelings instead of your future. When we look at the creation of Adam and Eve, God didn't give Adam a wife because Adam was bored. Adam wasn't standing in the garden saying, God, I'm lonely, please send me somebody. God waited until Adam was fully engaged in his assignment before he introduced Eve. That's the order of God. He never gives you a relationship first. He gives you responsibility first. Why? Because responsibility reveals identity, and identity positions you to handle partnership correctly. Think about it. How can you choose a partner if you don't even know the direction you're supposed to be going in? How can you know who belongs to your life if you don't yet know what your life is supposed to produce? Without a sense of assignment, you'll keep falling for people who feel good, but who are not good for where you're going. That's why God, in his mercy, sometimes delays relationships, not because he's punishing you, but because he's preparing you. Preparation protects you from connections that don't align with your destiny. It's like being handed the keys to a powerful car before you even know how to drive. The car isn't bad, but without preparation, it can become dangerous in your hands. Relationships are the same way. Without clarity of assignment, a relationship that's supposed to be a blessing can turn into a burden. That's why God introduces you to yourself before he introduces you to someone else. You have to meet your calling before you meet your companion, because it's not love that sustains purpose, it's purpose that sustains love. And here's something critical. Your assignment gives you discernment. The moment you know what you were born to do, you stop entertaining what doesn't fit that calling. You stop dating based on looks alone. You stop being impressed by temporary attraction. Why? Because now you see differently. You're no longer picking people to satisfy your emotions. You're discerning people who can handle your vision. This is why purpose is non-negotiable. Relationships that are not rooted in purpose will always collapse under pressure. You don't need someone who just loves your smile. You need someone who understands your assignment. You don't need someone who's just good at conversation. You need someone who's good at intercession. Someone who can pray with you, build with you, endure with you when life gets heavy. That kind of relationship only comes after you've stepped into the assignment God placed on your life. Many people keep asking God to send them their soulmate. but they're skipping the first part of the process, discovering their assignment. But God is too wise to send someone into your life while you're still lost about why you're here. Why would God trust someone to you if you don't yet trust him with your own life? That's why he starts with you. He works on your heart, your discipline, your character, your focus, and your understanding of your calling. Because once you're standing firmly in your assignment, then you're finally positioned to recognize who's supposed to stand with you. Until you know why you were born, you will never know who belongs to your life. One of the greatest mistakes people make when searching for love is confusing chemistry with compatibility. Chemistry is easy. Chemistry can happen with anyone at any time. It's that spark, that excitement, that rush you feel when someone walks into the room, says the right thing, or looks the right way. But chemistry is emotional, and emotions are unstable. What excites you today can irritate you tomorrow. What makes you feel good in the moment may have nothing to do with your long-term purpose. This is why so many relationships start with fire and end with ashes. Because people fell in love with feelings, not with their future. God is not sending you someone just because they make you smile. He's sending someone because they fit your destiny. Compatibility is about alignment. It's about shared values, shared vision, shared commitment to something greater than both of you. That's why God will never choose someone for you based on how they make you feel in a moment. He will align you with someone who fits your assignment for a lifetime. This is not just about happiness, it's about destiny. Chemistry can connect you to people who don't even belong in your life. That's why you've had relationships in your past that started fast and burned out quickly. Because what starts with emotion usually ends with frustration. But when God orchestrates a connection based on compatibility, it's not just about physical attraction, it's about spiritual alignment. They don't just excite you, they equip you. They don't just look good with you, they build good with you. Look at the example of Adam and Eve again. God didn't just give Adam a woman. He gave Adam a helper. Eve was not sent to complete Adam's loneliness. She was sent to complement his assignment. God said, I will make a helper suitable for him. Not just anyone, suitable. Someone who fit the purpose Adam was already fulfilling. That's compatibility. Two people walking in agreement toward the same God-given goal. Here's what many people don't realize. Chemistry is about pleasure. Compatibility is about purpose. You don't need someone who just makes you feel butterflies. You need someone who can stand with you when the storms of life hit. And storms will come. Marriage and partnership are not built on smiles and good dates. They're built on shared commitment to a calling greater than personal comfort. And this is why God will often block relationships that look good on the outside, but don't fit his plan for your life. He's not being cruel. He's being protective. God loves you too much to let you build a future with someone who doesn't have the capacity to carry the weight of your purpose. You might cry over closed doors now, but you'll thank him later for the relationships he didn't let work out. Why? Because what you thought was love was really just chemistry, and chemistry can't hold the weight of a kingdom assignment. Compatibility means you both understand why you're on earth. It means you both pray together, build together, sacrifice together, dream together, and grow together. It means you're not just emotionally connected, you're spiritually aligned. You don't just share feelings, you share faith, values, and vision. God's design for your life partner is never random. It's never based on temporary pleasure or superficial attraction. It's always based on the deeper work of destiny. The right person for you will not just be someone you like, they will be someone you recognize in your spirit. Someone who feels right, not just emotionally, but spiritually, mentally, and purposefully. God connects you with people who fit where you're going, not just where you are. That's why chemistry may introduce you, but compatibility will keep you. One of the most beautiful yet frustrating things about God is that He doesn't always reveal everything to us when we want Him to, especially when it comes to relationships. God often hides the right person, not because He's withholding good things from you, but because He's protecting you from moving too soon. The person God has for you isn't hidden from you. They're hidden for you. And they remain hidden until you are prepared to recognize them, not just with your eyes, but with your spirit. God's timing is never random. It's strategic. He works not according to your emotions, but according to your assignment and your readiness. The reason some people miss the right person is because they're busy searching with desperation rather than allowing God to do the revealing. When you're focused more on your desire for companionship than on your preparation for destiny, you can walk right past the very person God intended for your life. Why? Because your vision is clouded by your own impatience. But God never introduces destiny connections to people who aren't prepared to steward them properly. The right person at the wrong time is still the wrong thing. Think about Joseph in the Bible. His destiny was hidden inside of him for years, but until he was developed through process, God didn't allow him to step into that leadership role. The same is true for relationships. God hides what's valuable until the environment is right. You don't place valuable diamonds on the street. You keep them secured until the right person who knows their worth can handle them. That's what God does with your future spouse. They're hidden in plain sight, but you won't see them until your character, vision, and obedience are in the right position. And here's something many people overlook. Recognizing the right person is not just about them being ready, it's about you being ready. God will not entrust someone's destiny to a person who's still confused about their own. This is why so many good people seem invisible to you until you grow. Once you develop spiritually and emotionally, your discernment sharpens. Suddenly, what you used to overlook now catches your spirit's attention. Not because they changed, but because you did. God will not reveal what's valuable to someone who hasn't matured enough to protect it. Some people pray, God, show me who my partner is, but God is more interested in first showing you who you are. He's working on your discipline, your patience, your trust in Him, and your ability to handle covenant relationships. If you're not yet faithful to God's plan for your own life, how can He trust you to be faithful with someone else's? God hides the right person until you're no longer chasing people, but chasing purpose. That's why when you finally meet the person God has for you, it won't feel like chasing. It will feel like recognizing. It's not forced. It's not desperate. It's not something you have to convince yourself about. It's a knowing that happens deep within your spirit, confirmed by peace, clarity, and alignment. And that recognition comes after preparation. You don't find the right person by accident. You meet them by divine appointment at the right place, at the right time, when both of you have been properly prepared to build something together for God's glory. So don't be discouraged by delays or by the feeling that God is hiding something from you. He's hiding it for you, keeping what's valuable until you have the capacity to cherish it. What's yours is already chosen, already prepared, already aligned, but you will only see it when you're ready to handle it with wisdom, love, and purpose. Many people believe that finding their soulmate is a matter of luck or chance, like randomly bumping into the right person on a normal day or accidentally falling into the perfect relationship. But when it comes to God's plan, Nothing about your life is left to chance. God is intentional with everything he does, especially when it comes to relationships. You don't meet your soulmate by accident. You meet them by revelation. And revelation never shows up before preparation. God doesn't just give you what you want, he reveals what you're ready to handle. The mistake so many people make is that they confuse coincidence with calling. They think just because they cross paths with someone, it must mean God sent them. But crossing paths is not confirmation of purpose. Revelation is what separates a passing moment from a divine appointment. And revelation isn't emotional, it's spiritual. It's when God opens your spiritual eyes to recognize someone who's been assigned to your life, not just to love you, but to walk with you in fulfilling your purpose on earth. Revelation always follows preparation. God won't reveal a destiny partner to someone who's still confused about their own identity. That's why you can be surrounded by good people and still not see the one God has for you. Because revelation comes at the right time, not before. This is why God spends more time preparing you than preparing them. The moment you step fully into your assignment, God begins to reveal things that were hidden all along. It's the same principle we see all throughout Scripture. Before God reveals the next step, he always prepares the person. Moses had to go through the wilderness before leading God's people. David had to serve as a shepherd before becoming king. Preparation always precedes revelation. Why? Because preparation sharpens your discernment. It gives you the spiritual maturity to recognize what's of God and what's just a distraction. Many people miss this because they are searching with their emotions instead of with their spirit. They're chasing chemistry instead of praying for clarity. But here's the truth. When you meet someone by revelation, it will not just feel good, it will make sense in your spirit. It will be a knowing that's deeper than attraction, deeper than charm, deeper than surface level excitement. Revelation brings peace, while impulse brings confusion. That's how you'll know the difference. And here's another truth. When God reveals the right person, they will confirm your purpose, not compete with it. You won't have to shrink who you are to make them stay. You won't have to compromise your values or explain your vision over and over to someone who doesn't get it. The one God has for you will recognize your assignment and say, I'm here to help you carry it. And that revelation won't come from you forcing it. It will come naturally through God's timing. God reveals destiny connections through alignments. When your life begins to align with God's purpose, the people who are meant to walk with you will also begin to align. This is why you don't have to manipulate relationships or force anyone to be with you. What's revealed by God will remain by God. What's joined by God cannot be shaken by human effort. So if you're waiting for the right person, stop asking God to send them and start asking God to prepare you. Because when you're ready, God doesn't just introduce you to them, he reveals them to you. And when God reveals something, he also confirms it, strengthens it, and gives it purpose beyond just romantic feelings. That's why you don't meet your soulmate by accident. You meet them by divine revelation at the exact moment your assignment and their assignment are ready to meet for his glory. The journey to finding your soulmate is never about luck, desperation, or random chance. It's about divine purpose unfolding at the right time. God is not hiding good things from you. He's preparing good things for you. And before he introduces you to someone else, he will first introduce you to yourself. Because when you truly know who you are and why you exist, you will never settle for anything or anyone that doesn't align with your destiny. The one God has for you will not just fit your heart, they will fit your purpose. And you won't have to chase them, convince them, or manipulate anything to make it work. Divine connections come by revelation, not confusion. And when God reveals, it's always clear, peaceful, and purposeful. So don't grow weary in the waiting. Focus on your assignment, stay faithful to your preparation, and trust God's perfect timing. What's yours is already written in eternity. It's only a matter of divine alignment. Good luck on your journey of becoming everything God designed you to be. Thank you for listening, and may your life be guided by wisdom, purpose, and divine connections.